What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our match reaction here on Anfield Agenda. A Dominic Szoboszlai penalty right at the death sees Liverpool leave St James's Park with a 2-2 draw. A result that, in all honesty, we probably didn't deserve to get anything from the game. We're going to go through and give you my thoughts on it. Of course, we'd welcome your thoughts, so do let us know in the comment section. Drop a like if you're enjoying this, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So look, ladies and gentlemen, it finishes, as I said, at St James's Park 2-2 in a game that only just feels like we've picked up where we left off last season. Defensively, we're a shambles yet again. Where is the aggression gone that we'd seen in pre-season? We'll go through that. Midfield, again, defensively non-existent. But again, when we get into the final third, we keep turning over possession and it keeps coming back to bite us in the backside. Not too many players out there today in the Liverpool shirt can hold their heads up high, but I'm going to give you my take on the game. So look, let's set the tone. We went into it knowing that Newcastle have had a pretty bad summer, right? They've been absolutely decimated, lots of their top players leaving. And we asked ourselves, is this the right time for Liverpool to go in there and take on Newcastle? Will we be able to get off to a good start in the Premier League? Well, the answer to that was it could have been, but it wasn't. Because the same old Liverpool showed up. The aggression that we'd been led to believe was going to be there in pre-season hasn't shown up. The defending is back to what it was. But the biggest bugbear for me in all of this, and the reason for both of Newcastle's goals today, and the reason for many of the goals during in pre-season, is us turning over possession in the final third of the pitch. I've said it time and time again, we do not protect the ball good enough, and it has come back to bite us in the backside yet again. And here's the irony. Who was the one that turned over possession twice to give away the 2 goals today, or that led to the goals? Your defensive midfielder, or the one that's supposed to assume that role in this setup, Ryan Gravenberch, who was hooked and taken off again for another abject performance. We'll move on to the attack and how poor that was, but we cannot ignore this. As Liverpool fans, whether you are a fan or a pundit or somebody who just loves the game, everybody that watches Liverpool knows without any hesitation that we don't have a defensive midfielder. We've talked about it time and time again, but they're the holes yet again. Turnover possession, nobody there to cover, nobody to break up attacks, nobody to snuff out the danger, and yet we're led to believe that we don't need one in this system. Whoever is trying to pawn you off with that garbage is exactly that, garbage, because it's nonsense. We have clear deficiencies, and defensive midfield is the most obvious one. But let's not forget about our defenders and all of this as well. Second goal for Newcastle, we'll move on to in a minute. But the first one, Ryan Gravenberch, your DM, in attack in the opposite end of the pitch, does the hard part, gets away from his man, then with the options ahead of him, what does he do? Plays an under-hip pass out to the left-hand side. Newcastle defender sticks a leg out. Ball ricochets in. Newcastle suddenly down the far end. One more pass into Alanga, and we're 1-0 down. From an attacking position, yet again. No challenge, no cover, no foul, nothing from one end of the pitch to the other. So then we go in and we get a goal from Cody Gakpo. A really well taken finish from a player who was probably the standout performer in Liverpool colours today. And the irony is, he's probably going to be sold next week. So Cody gets us back into the game with a great goal, drilled finish into the corner, and we're thinking, right, plenty of time on the clock. I think it was about 35 minutes to go. Go on and win this, lads. Take control of it, grab it by the scruff of the neck, and go show where you're the better side. Nope, that's not what happened. What happened instead was we are attacking. Ryan Gravenberch again on the edge of their penalty area, tries a little flick behind the ball, misses the ball, or mishits the ball, goes to a Newcastle player. Johan Visa does really, really well for Newcastle. Want to give him his fair dues and all of this. He was brilliant. Gets past Liverpool players. And then it was like watching Arne Slot's Liverpool all over again. Virgil and the Liverpool defenders backing off, until it's too late and the ball's in the back of the net. And not 3 minutes had passed since we got the game level, then we were back behind. That is, again, where's the aggressive defending? Where's the stepping up and making things happen? Virgil van Dijk needs to be better in these situations, and he needs to have somebody stepping up there and taking responsibility. 5 Liverpool players, you can count them, 5 of them around the ball and the player. Not one of them thought it was worth putting a challenge in. Not one. It was a textbook example of how and why you take a yellow card. And they didn't, and they backed off, and the ball's in the net, and we're 2-1 down. And then after that, we flattered to deceive again. The manager had to get desperate making his changes. Florian Wirtz taken off. Gravenberch taken off. Lewis Kumas brought on. Victor Munoz brought on. And eventually, with a bit of luck, We get a penalty right at the death. Munoz gets fouled by Lewis Hall, who comes in, bangs his knee into his thigh. He goes down. Referee points to the spot. Szoboszlai steps up, scores, puts it into the top corner. 2-2, and we go away with a point. But that masks the truth of this game. Isak is still not getting service. Nobody's understanding his movements yet. That's why we need better wide players in. Florian Wirtz should be ashamed of that display. He was absolutely right to be taken off by the manager at about 60-65 minutes because yet again, he was far too loose in possession and just didn't impact the game in a way that we'd want to. Rio on the right-hand side just didn't look natural there. He looked like he was trying to force the issue a bit, and I'm not going to go in on a 17-year-old kid that is only getting up to speed. That's where Rio's at right now. That's fine. Don't expect more of him. He's trying to help the team out by playing on the right. No abuse coming my way for him. On the other side, Cody Gakpo, I thought, was by far and away our best attacker. And like I said, the irony of this is that Cody's going to be heading off probably next week. And that's where Liverpool are at right now. Lewis Kumas came off the bench and I think put in a good effort. Talking about the fullbacks today, neither of them covered themselves in glory. Jeremy Frimpong looked right back to the Jeremy Frimpong that we'd seen in a Liverpool shirt in every game, bar the last pre-season friendly. Kirkes was over hitting balls on the other side as well. It's just a mess. I totally do understand and respect the change to bring on Araujo for Xhaka. That was a fitness thing. That would have been preordained. No issues with that. Xhaka would have only been able to play a certain level of time before he got into the danger zone for an injury. Liverpool were right to make the change there. And that didn't change things up too much for us. But outside of that, ladies and gents, we're struggling. This, again, showed up that Liverpool need investment. Liverpool need at least one or two wingers. Liverpool need a DM. Liverpool need a right back. But will we get all of those things? Not a chance. We won't get them with these owners because they're cheap, and this is how Liverpool Football Club is run. I say that this is how the football club is being run. At the minute, I don't actually know that it's being run because we've got owners who aren't communicating during the sale process. We've got new investors who've had nothing to say. But what we do know as fans is we've got a manager who hasn't been given the tools to do his job, players who don't have a high enough standard to carry themselves with, aggression that isn't there yet, fitness levels that aren't where they are or need to be, and it's rinse and repeat. And nobody wants to start the season saying these things, but we have to say them because it's clear what's needed. We need a DM. We need a right back. We need two wingers. Make it happen. Stop making excuses. Or we're going to have a season like last season again. This was a poor Newcastle team. And I'm not speaking out of turn to say that. Newcastle fans would have said the very same thing. This, in my opinion, was a massive opportunity missed for Liverpool to get a 3-point start at the start of the season, to put things in the right direction and then build on it and move. So now it's over to the transfer committee or whoever the fuck they are at this point to get their fingers out, stop trying to be penny pinchers and save money and get the manager what he needs, or we're going to have another season where Liverpool are nowhere near the levels that they need to be at. That's my take on it, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you guys now to have your say. But for me as a Liverpool fan, right again, am I surprised by this? Somewhat, yes. I did expect a better level of aggression from our players today. But I always expected to be teething issues with a new manager as well. But these didn't feel like teething issues. These didn't feel like problems because of a new coach. These were problems carried on from previous seasons, from previous times where we didn't have the bodies that we need. So that's my take on it. And thank you for letting me get it off my chest there at the start. Now I'm going to drop into the chat and see how you guys are feeling about it.